What does a brand evolution look like? We're talking history, the marketplace, and leveraging AI that levels up a great player in SEO SaaS platforms. We're talking to the Chief Marketing Officer of SE Ranking today on The Edge.
Your weekly digital marketing trends with industry trend-setting guests. Powered by your digital marketing pioneers, Site Strategics. This week's featured guest is Bogdan Babiak, Chief Marketing Officer at SE Ranking. Now, here's your host, Erin Sparks.
Welcome back to The Edge. Hey, it's a rarity that we have an episode on Edge of the Web where we are focused on one of the marketing platforms in our industry. We share insights on tools all the time that we use at the shop, but there are some companies that come alongside us as sponsors on the show, but we really don't take a moment to tell their stories. Today's episode is special. I wanted to take a moment and talk about an SEO SaaS platform that has not only garnered my attention over the last few years, but also demonstrated such an evolution over such a small period of time that it warranted a conversation. That platform is SE Rankings. So I wanted to bring over Bogdan Babiak. He's the SE Rankings Chief Marketing Officer. I wanted to bring him on the show and talk a little bit about SE Ranking today. Bogdan, thanks for joining us on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for introduction. I never heard such a great pitch about the platform. I need to write it down.
No problem. Hey, Bogdan, you're more than welcome. We wanted to get you on board, and we are actually beginning a CMO series here on The Edge, and we wanted to get you on the show and learn a little bit more about not only SE Ranking, but also your history as well in the marketplace. Can you give us a bit of a history of where you've been in marketing, especially in CMO positions over the years? Lay it on us, where you've been.
Interesting. To be fair, the part that I remember right now, that's always been with this ranking. But before that, in 2016, I worked in several digital agencies that been working with mainly Ukrainian brands and big brands that are represented in our market. Then I tried myself in some of B2B companies with the same similar SaaS model, and even find myself in a C2C company that was quite an experience to see how it looks like to work in classified industry.
Oh, wow.
And then in the end, I've been hired in SE Ranking in 2016. And from that moment, I'm developing as a specialist and as a professional with this company. It's quite a past, but again, the part that I remember well, mainly connected with SE Ranking.
Fantastic. And whenever we're talking about digital marketing in years, it's almost like dog years. I mean, digital marketing changes so quickly, and you have to be able to not only understand what's happening, but also adjust. And I can't imagine, just from an agency standpoint, that's one thing, but whenever you're actually offering up a marketing tool, you have to stay aggressive. You have to be paying attention to what's out there in the marketplace. And on top of that, the changing topography that Google provides us and the volatility in there. And we'll talk about Google here in a little while, but it certainly is a challenge in the marketplace, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's maybe one of the reasons why I'm still here. Each year here, it's something completely new. It's a completely new company. I mean, you constantly need to evolve. You need to rebuild your processes, you rebuild your strategy, rebuild the attitude, how you measure everything, etc. So yes, there is a lot of uncertainty and changeability on the market. Like Google by itself, and you constantly need to catch up with it from technology standpoint, plus roll out a new functionality that will support the market to respond on that changes.
Yeah,
and moreover, the competitive landscape, there is a lot of providers on the market, a lot of great specialists who deciding to start their own venture, create some kind of solution to share solution to the market. Some of them not very successful, some are successful or becoming some niche solution for a certain task. But despite that, we had big players in the market who creating the landscape, who changing the trends where industry is supposed to go. Right. And it's very interesting, to be fair, for me personally and for the people that we collect together. So everybody in SE Ranking, that's the people who not afraid of that challenges that it usually drives us. It's definitely not so risky and windy, like, I don't know, if you work in financials.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah,
Trading with
exactly.
stocks or something like that. It's more
Right.
predictable, and that's the pressure thing in this industry. Like you, usually, if you do the things right, it comes right, like it goes right. If you do some not data-driven things, you end in
Mhm.
very weird places.
No, well, there's always a challenge, and it never gets old. That's for darn sure. As just being in the industry for 25, 30 years now, there's certainly been tools that have come and gone that we all had nostalgia for. But I mean, there's a maturity in this marketplace, and you have to have not only appreciation of the platforms themselves, but also understanding the consumer's needs and how those are changing on a regular basis. So that gives the kind of the foundation of where SE ranking has been. But I also wanted to actually just kind of go through a bit of the history of SE ranking. It's a great application for digital marketing in the SaaS marketplace. They got a number of tools for SEO, content marketing, social media. I did want to cover a number of things here just for the SE ranking history. SE ranking is 11 years old now, and you have some striking accomplishments. You entered the market in 2013, and it was initially developed as kind of an accurate ranking data tool for an in-house SEO team. And that's always a great start whenever you actually see a platform that is bought in by its founders as a tool set for themselves, because that's when you're not just listening to consumers, you are the consumer, and you're looking to be able to improve something that maybe you didn't see in the marketplace. And I just harken back to all the different tools that our company has subscribed to over the years, and we never had one tool to be able to do everything that we needed to do. It's always an amalgam of a number of different tool sets to get kind of different lenses on the patient. 2014, you focused on refining the data accuracy and personalized search and prioritize quality and aiming to surpass those market standards. You expanded the tool set in 2015. 2016, you had a marketing team formation, a dedicated marketing team to establish promotion of your new tools and growing the user base. So that's when you joined in 2016. So you had a brand new marketing team to market this platform. Nothing had been done before to a substantial degree from that marketing experience. What was that challenge like, actually starting a brand new marketing firm for this platform?
So in 2016, like again, there was some kind of marketing efforts before that.
Of course,
Definitely,
yeah.
they've been more local, but that there was quite a decision strategic that we need to scale up to present our solution further for Ukrainian market, everything in Europe and in the North America and
Mm-hmm.
Americas. I guess it's like considered to be called West. So
Mm-hmm.
expanding West. And at that moment, I joined the team as like one of the first employees who worked in this dedicated marketing team, and started as pay-per-click specialist. I've been focusing on Google Ads advertising at that moment. There have been some changes in the team through this process, and only later I became a leader of all marketing team, and then changed the position to chief marketing officer. So in that period, definitely we, like, as fully bootstrapped business, the business that usually experiment, test something, and then go further in scale. We never doing that bold decisions, trying to invest a lot and then decide whether it works or not. We usually try
Mm-hmm.
something with a low effort, and then like create an MVP and then scale. So while going through that process, we've been mainly focusing on early adopters, so people who are looking for certain solutions. It was quite an easy thing, as you have a very strong solution behind you. I mean,
Right.
we at that moment we mastered rank tracking and always been some kind of top-notch solution. And definitely be more challenging going with other modules that's been more freshly baked, not
Mm-hmm.
so established at that moment. But as time been going, we developing new functions in marketing, trying to capture not only existing demand, I mean, through the search,
Right.
building a more multi-level marketing efforts. It became easier, but again, I cannot say that it's everything happened in one time. First of all, we've been focusing mainly on existing demand and trying to close the existing jobs to be done. And as we've been quite visible in terms of price offering. It was easy for us to scale in European markets and in
Hmm.
North America.
Excellent. So in that respect, you also invested in an educational model right along with that. Is that video series, live events, and multi-language tool sets to be able to give more offerings to the entire world. The world changed, certainly in 2020, whenever everything pandemic-oriented hit us. And there's certainly a lot of need for digital marketing tools because a lot of companies around the world had to resort to just being able to offer their services digitally. So, did you find a new resonance with consumers, especially with the pricing model, to be able to assist them? As we know, there's a lot of companies that did not even understand digital marketing, had to jump in there with both feet. What were some of the experiences that you had there?
Definitely 2022. That was a year of uncertainty.
Oh
A
my
lot
gosh,
of
yeah.
a lot of people panicked. Definitely in Ukraine, it was a bit softer as regulations not hit us so hardly. But
Hmm.
again, not everybody in one day switched to remote. It was hard to accept that. A lot of businesses just freezed. They don't know
Yeah.
what to do, what to expect. And definitely for us, like as our solution by itself, it's partnership software that helps you, not like SEO software, but we treat it as a partnership model. I mean, we totally dependable on your success in digital visibility, especially in SEO. And for us, it was reasonable to like we understood that if businesses suffering, we also will be suffering as a service provider.
Right.
So at that period, definitely we've been trying to support everybody as much as possible because we have a strong digital expertise. We try to educate. We try to help customers to go through digitalization process. I mean, creating educational materials around that.
Hmm.
Definitely, there was supportive programs for businesses who suffered very much. You can apply on that program during COVID time and like
Yeah,
get our subscription for free for a certain period.
that's
And
fantastic. Yeah.
it's quite a synergic relationship with the market. Like we are part of like this market is fully driven by the community and all of the members. It's a community members, and like you understand that in order to prosper, you're supposed to understood that like you're part of that. And our attitude and our decision that been done through that period definitely been driven by that attitude. We understood that in order to help ourselves, we need first of all help our customers,
Hmm.
and that symbiosis, everybody will in the end prosper. So it's like some kind of win-win relationship. So if
Absolutely.
customer succeed by recovering or adopting new function, we will also succeed because we are being a partner through that process. You know, we're being a solution for you in terms of tools or information or insights that it be
Hmm.
necessary. Yeah, but again, it's been very surprising for me how fastly people change their like they regrouped and start switching to digital. Like I saw
Hmm.
such massive cases when people like their business being completely disappeared due to the pandemic and they switched to digital, and it's like been very inspiring thing. We even created some kind of tribute. I don't know, not a tribute, like a video material where we
Hmm.
collected some stories to support people who are desperate and don't know what to do, sharing the success stories of other customers who appeared in the same situation. So, okay,
That's
so we
fantastic.
quite experienced going through through periods of uncertainty.
Yeah,
In,
absolutely. And uncertainty continued with the war in Ukraine. And you also ceased all operations in Russia. Highly commendable. Certainly, there's some business risks there as well, but you did the right thing in that space. And we certainly give our support for what you did go through. And a number of your developers were also in Ukraine, and they're still in Ukraine as well, right?
Definitely, yeah. To be fair, it's very tough time, and I cannot call it even business risk. It's only
Yeah.
one decision in that moment. It's
Right, right, right.
impossible to imagine that the country bombing you
No, of course not. Yeah. No, it was a clear decision. But in light of everything that you're doing, you're always marching by kind of a moral North Star that you did with helping companies inside of COVID, but also making sure that everybody knew where you were in this conflict. So your brand started to really build for community outreach and education. You've also pivoted into a number of new spaces that Google was challenging us with as well. So adopting new technology and learning from the new tapestry that we have. So AI integration started to be built into your application in 2023, doing some rapid changes because the world was changing for us from the SERP side of things. AI was just taking us all by storm. So that's where you are right now. What has happened in 2024 that continued that investment in AI technology? Can you give us that picture right now? Because the year's not over. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more changes. But even in the 8 months of 2024, you certainly have adapted some new technology, right?
Yeah. For us, it already seems like just a normal thing. I assume that in the future we'll be capable of writing a book regarding operating in like a lot of uncertainty and pressure. So regarding that, definitely it was like we constantly following the requests of the market. We understood that there is a necessity of implementing that, and and being very stubborn regarding that. Because it's required switching a lot of our resources and throwing them into this innovative aspect of that. We started with minor steps with our like on-page functionality, with content tool that we created. And right now with the launch of IEO, like in previous it was SGE. Definitely we understood that the landscape is changing, and as we are quite experienced through the processes of challenges, we decided that we need to be that partner for SEO specialists, providing the insights, what's happening, what's changing. We rolled out our first beta functionality regarding tracking the changes, monitoring what's happening with how HGE looks like, how often it appears, like IEO appears. So, and we continue developing that. In day or two, we'll be rolling out of beta testing. I assume by the date when the podcast will go live, we're already present. The functionality that will be available for all our customers. But in the beginning, we assume that it's very necessary for everybody to provide the context, what's happening, because it's the worst feeling that you can have, that uncertainty. And it's very easy for you to accept the challenges that you see in the future when you have some kind of plan, when you understand where it's moving towards. But at that moment, it was like a storm of news, of hypotheses, what is going on, that SEO will disappear in one day, that Google will change in one day. There was so crazy theories and a lot of afraid. So we understood that we need to be some kind of showing some bright light into that darkness, and
absolutely.
To collect all our expertise and explain what's happening. Definitely, we cannot answer on all questions, but we run a bunch of researches because we've been capable of doing that regarding where it's going, how it's changing, and we will continue doing that, providing that level of expertise that we have through these years that we collected by operating with Google, by working with analyzing what Google is doing. And our main goal is to be a partner, being a tool, intelligence tool, and the tool that provide insights and back up you with the data. And we know our role here, and customers can rely on us with that.
Right.
And that's responsibilities that we take on. We should continue to be like that. We should constantly be one step ahead, try to help. The main challenge through that period being that customers been asking SEO experts what's happening, and SEO experts don't know what's happening. And that was from feedback loop that we get, that was a precious thing for them. We provide an information that helps them to explain that to everybody else, because they're some kind of heralds.
Hey listeners, I'm excited to tell you about SE Rankings' incredible transformation. This isn't just a facelift. It's a complete evolution of what's going to revolutionize your SEO game. SE Ranking has grown from a simple rank tracking tool into a full-fledged SEO ecosystem. They've revamped their visual identity to showcase their commitment to innovation and user-friendly interfaces. Their new logo? It's all about growth and ambition, perfectly capturing their mission to empower you in the digital landscape. But it's not just about looks. SE Ranking has redefined its core values, and they're all about you. First up, they're all about empowering people with their professional SEO platform. You get access to up-to-date, accurate data powered by cutting-edge AI and machine learning algorithms. It's like having a crystal ball for your SEO strategy. Next, they're inspiring growth. SE Ranking is building a community of forward-thinking digital marketers. They're offering an academy, webinars, podcasts, industry studies, and even CSR initiatives. It's not just a tool, it's a movement. Finally, they're bringing clarity to SEO. We all know SEO can be complex, but SE Ranking makes it intuitive at all levels. They've got a clean UI, customizable dashboards, responsive customer support, and a library of guides and tutorials. It's like having an SEO expert right at your fingertips. SE Ranking is transforming the SEO landscape, and we don't want you to be left behind. Experience the evolution for yourself. Visit edgeofthewebradio.com/SE Ranking today to get 15% off of your annual subscription. That's edgeofthewebradio.com/SE Ranking. Trust me, your future self will thank you. Elevate your SEO strategy with SE Ranking. Inside the SEO industry, we were all clamoring to try to figure out what was going on. It was such an enormous change of the real estate of the SERP. And on top of that, there were many thoughts that SGE was never going to even make it into the marketplace. And we know now with the reveal of AI overviews back in April that, they were serious, they were investing. But for a company, and you were the tip of the spear, you were one of the first, if not the first, I believe, to be able to have AI overview ranking tracking to a particular certitude. We were able to start seeing that in your reports to invest in something that was still a lab test, not even knowing if it was even going to be in the marketplace. That's risky, but you took the community education route to be able to share information to help us all understand this space, because we were all just trying to understand the environment, and everything was radically changing, and literally daily the overview is changing. So there's no stability in this space, and I guess that's the key point for SEOs. We've never had a stable environment. Everything's always changing. Every time an algorithm change comes through, we're pulling our hair out waiting for what's going to be happening to our clients. So we represent a good deal of clients for all these agencies that are relying on these tools, and they have to have some sort of understanding of what we can not only report, but what we can also predict. So taking that leadership space, SE Ranking certainly has upped their communication and their brand, so to speak, by being able to help us understand this entire topography. So just as a bit of a acknowledgement, I just wanted to thank you for being able to take that on, because that was a risky space. And now you see a number of the tools all starting to come together and be able to start scraping the SERP and be able to see that. Now we also see that AI overview is no longer just a logged-in experience. It's now a non-logged-in experience. So now that's even more transparent to the user that it's a real thing. It's continually available, and there's some predicted stability that's out there. But early adoption is not for the faint of heart, because there's a lot of questions whenever you're doing that. So sorry for the rant there, but that literally was the pivotal moment here. And that's when I got to be more experienced with SE Ranking and the tool set. So we'd been a client for a number of years, but this was a pretty pivotal change that I saw from a tool set, being able to take that leap there. Now, let me ask you here, before we get into some of the brand discussions, whenever we start looking at reduced budgets and whenever economies change and the like, there's always a focus on software recession, right? Especially in the digital marketplace. How are you demonstrating the ROI for your SEO SaaS product to potential clients, new clients that are coming in? Because the Western economy is pretty volatile right now, especially going into election. We don't know what in the world is going to be happening. But that said, Software is usually the first thing to go, right? Whenever there's cuts that are being made inside of an organization. What are some of the measures of retaining your clients, but also gaining new clients? Can you give us a little bit of a perspective there?
Definitely, that's impacting on us significantly as at everybody. But like
Mm-hmm.
we're more in SMB segment. I mean, from the level of customers, and usually we're when customers decide to cut the expenses on SEO ranking, it's usually a decision that when they're not using the software. From
Right.
price standpoint, we're constantly trying to be us ourselves reasonable. I mean, like we totally understand that if a business not get the value from the platform and the outcome is not positive for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
For using software is not positive, especially on smaller businesses, it's more noticeable. And when you sharing that culture and going even upper with that culture
Mm-hmm.
in head, that customers should realize the value of the platform, adopt the platform, use it every day, and understand that it's helping to grow. It's not becoming a great problem. Like we
Mm-hmm.
saw how big enterprises suffered through recession periods, but
Right.
for us, it's been definitely softer because, like again, our software is something that is for your day-to-day use. Like SEO, like even through recession, Google not
Mm-hmm.
disappear. Still, you need to go through that
Oh,
SEO
absolutely.
data routine and continue your operation and take the company out of the recession. And we usually been in the list of softwares that stays with the companies. Again, definitely there is slowness on the market appearing through that. People are more safer in decision making. But
Mm-hmm.
for us ranking, again, we're a very great product. Usually I have a constant dialogues with the customers, like when we meet on a conference or through interviewing process, when I like asking, hey, did you saw that functionality or did you saw that part of that module? And
Mm-hmm.
usually it appeared that they not seen that just due to the habit, or they get used
Sure.
not to check that, or even not had the demand to do that. But they usually surprised. Usually, when you jump into S ranking, you start with a certain solution that you're looking for. It can be ranking, competitor research, content
Mm-hmm.
creation, or IEO tracking. But when you go further and start engaging with all components of platform, you understand that you get an extra for it. Like
Yeah.
you already explained to yourself for what you're paying, like this 50 or $100,
Mm-hmm.
but now you get an extra, like all that hidden features that that just appear in your car, like hey, there is a sunroof, and hey, there's a
Yeah.
spoiler that exists. So for us it was easier because we've been always quite reasonable. Our strategy is like fully like bootstrapped. We usually not very aggressive in the curve, how we
Mm-hmm.
expect to grow. We understand that we're growing naturally with the industry, with our customers, and due to that, it's easier to us. It's more predictable because
Right.
again, if you're for example, I cannot imagine of being CEO in a business that's going through COVID, like for example, Zoom, when you're
Mm-hmm.
becoming the best solution on the market, everybody wants to invest into you, like you get very high expectations, and then COVID ends, and what's happening to you here?
Yeah, it's a
It's
challenge.
definitely it's with such, so that's definitely challenging, but I cannot say that it's not something that was the hardest challenge for us to overcome.
You're also in, I think, if I could interrupt you, your brand stands out. If we're comparing all different tools and platforms out there, your brand stands out of one that is very overtly innovating. So we are seeing changes in the platform over the course of the last 4 years that I've seen SE ranking. There's and to the point of the surprise, whenever I started digging around in the content creation area and looking at all the tools from an AI standpoint that helps me create competitive content and gives me great suggestions and tool sets to be able to observe ranking pages and be able to extract key concepts. It was something that I hadn't even expected whenever I was in the ranking section, right? To your point is that we can be very myopic on a tool set that we need at the time, but you start expanding into other areas of the software and it is kind of like Christmas. It's like, oh my gosh, they did that, and they just didn't do that just because everybody else is doing it. They've done this plus this, and this, in that space. And then you start comparing it to the other tools, and they're still basic content AI generators. It's like, whoa, we've got something else in this tool set that, and it's not just that function or that feature, it's actually the entire software and understanding that the brand is evolving and innovating itself regularly. Not to sound too glib there, but it was very interesting to start expanding my knowledge of the tool and saying, wow, this is superior technology, and this can actually help us in a lot of different ways. So that said, I wanted to link up to your brand because just
can I make a short comment regarding?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, first of all, thanks a lot. I hear, like, through your feedback, I hear that we are doing the right thing, and that definitely inspires us to continue the thing that we set up from early beginning. We heavily rely on feedback loop that exists with our customers. We're constantly in dialogue, and we asking what are the challenges do we have right now, and all of that innovation that you see, that's a process of collaboration with other experts that are part of community. Like, there are a lot of experts. Hey, it will be nice if you will have something that or that.
Sure.
Definitely, it's going through the process of prioritization of our resources, but that inside our team, we're experts. We know how it's supposed to work. We know what are the challenges we have. But on the other side, our customers and the dialogue with them, for us, it is the most crucial thing. If we will ask for one of the components of this growth that we have all over the time, that's something that I will name on the top list. Like, that feedback loop that we have, that's a contribution. That's a loyalty of experts that feel that, hey, this is a solution that I'm using for years and it's constantly evolving with my needs. So, like, if you will share your opinion, what you lack, maybe for your use case, we'll definitely listen to that. Like, each year we're running some kind of Christmas wishes campaign where we're collecting all of that massive feedback. What will be great if we will have, and that's something that helps us being innovative. Our customers poking us from button, like saying, hey, we need this, and this. So, we have a strong pressure behind us, and that's our role. That's our brand, a part of brand entity. We're supposed to be innovative. It's a great feeling when you have a partner that that will back up you with the innovations. You can calm down, relax, do your job, and if something new appear or new technology, or I will need something extra, it will exist or will appear in closest future.
We're proud to have Site Strategics as a sponsor of Edge of the Web. Here is a question. How do you create that authoritative subject matter expertise that we know Google's looking for? Learning from your client is always the place, but organizing a well-thought-through interview process is time-consuming. Site Strategics has developed a subject matter expert interview process that's backed by our years of interview techniques, as well as SEO research and buyer's journey persona definition. You can bring us in as an SEO SWAT team, extracting some incredible knowledge, voice, and passion of the SMEs for your use. We can deliver a targeted series of questions and goals through the interview, work organically through some great conversations, and provide a set of deliverables that you can take to omni-channel deployment. Video content, audio content, transcripts, blog posts, structural content, social, all from the untapped knowledge of your subject matter experts. Find out more. If you're interested in what we can do for you, just give us a call at 877-SEO4Web or 877-736-4932, or simply just go to edgeofthewebradio.com/site. We'd love to share some great successes with you. Remember, it's not you, it's me. That's what we want to see in these platforms that we use, because it is very crucial for us to understand. And it's also crucial for us to be able to, as agencies, to be able to adjust and be agile as things are changing in our marketplace. We certainly have seen so many algorithm changes coming through, and being able to have even health checks on our own content. How healthy is this? How helpful is this content? To be able to analyze the content that we currently have in place and be able to see opportunities to improve. You actually have a scorecard as it applies to individual pages that are ranking based on keywords, but also keyword clusters, and be able to see the opportunity in an individual page to be able to enhance. Those things are fantastic because that gives us a run and gun list of, okay, we're surfing right now. We need to adjust some of our legacy content that we haven't touched in years because competitively it's out of date, or competitively it's not having the same type of relevancy that it did. So you've got that scorecard running for us as well. So I'm not trying to bestow all of the accolades on SE ranking, but those are some key concepts that are practical that we're using inside the agency to be able to adjust and be able to optimize for our clients' benefit. And that's the thing, is that relying on software, knowing that it's going to be improving, as opposed to other platforms that may not have that cycle of development, right? You can get a bit stagnant and then get a bit myopic on the only the pieces that you're really wanting to pay attention to. But at the same time, a stagnant company, a stagnant tool set also has the risk of just being chopped, like we were talking about, is that if it's not giving me the benefit, and especially with the expense that we're outpouring, you gotta, as a consumer of these platforms, I have to review what the value is based on the expense that we're putting out for these platforms. So these are the factors that we pay attention to whenever we're making these type of decisions as an agency. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, like I'm just waiting till the moment when you will adopt other modules that we have, like to hear your opinion on like all other tools that we created through all of that time.
Yeah. I'm taking my time. There's a few others that that are pretty cool as well. But the content generation and the rank tracking is also very, very unique. And that's one of the first things that struck me, is being able to see a dashboard a good deal differently than the other platforms that have their aggregate position reporting. I mean, you can spend days in just what you've developed in that space as well, and get some really key insights as well. So, all right. That said, I just want to set the stage of what we as SEOs should expect from the platforms that we're not only investing in, but we're also relying on, and having that type of innovation focus. And agencies and digital marketing professionals, they need to know that that's part of their responsibility to be able to look at these tools and be able to see, okay, are they giving me more to help my daily and monthly routine for our own clients? Are we getting additional advantage from that? And I think that's what you've been able to establish at SE Ranking, is that you are growing and you're also giving some insights for us to be able to navigate these choppy waters. And they are the most volatile waters that we've ever seen in the history of Google. It's bloody scary whenever you start seeing your 10 blue links getting pushed further and further down, and AI is actually sucking up your own content for its own purposes. Not to get editorial there, but it's very challenging. And whenever we're talking to clients and they're looking at SEO as possibly dying off into a lesser percentage of their overall kind of marketing portfolio, you got to find not only the right tools, but also have the right strategies to be able to capitalize on what's left in that space. There's my last rant. I want to open the door for, and hopefully I set the stage for what you guys are doing from a brand growth standpoint. So you are engaging in an evolution of your brand. I think we've already kind of set the stage of what you've been doing over the last 3 years. Give us a pathway forward. What are you doing for SE Ranking, and what is your vision of the brand going forward?
Thank you. You are completely right. That's a level of expectations that you have from the software. It's being a partner, like for you in such a very challenging, changing landscape. And definitely SEO went far beyond from just rankings and backlinks, and that's early, I don't know, 2000s. It's constantly evolving. It's changing, and our platform develops to be able to respond to that changes. Definitely SEO specialist becoming a full-scale marketeer who's supposed to consider all components, like a brand entity, going with even some kind of pay-per-click functionality, go with the content deeper, go with the on-page with technical aspects. So it's challenging to be an SEO specialist. So as a brand, we understand that you need to back up, and it's our role here. And regarding as a ranking as a brand, we've been constantly operating with this mindset. We treat it as a partnership, and the partnership that only exists in that kind of win-win relationship. You successful, we successful. If you fail, we also fail. We lost you as a customer. We not see you going further adopt a new functionality. So that's something that's been our mind for a very, very long time. And that shapes our mindset in terms of a product development, in terms of communication that we have, in terms of sub-products as Academy and educational material that we're creating. And we get to a very interesting point when our processes, something that we're offering, grew up to such level that our identity, I mean, as ranking in some kind of brand, is not fitting into. Like, I mean, right now we decided to go through the process of so-called evolution, brand evolution, where we do a big step into upgrading our brand identity. It's not even like upgrading, it's aligning, because we have a lot of pieces of our initiatives and our processes that is going, and we need to regroup around that, state one united vision regarding that, and continue that trajectory. So in this ranking, we decided to go through the process of evolution, as I mentioned, like going from a bit of outdated design systems, visual, like different visuals that are developing in different times. Like still, I see some kind of legacy visual things that existed from 2016 or 2018. Like I can make a comparison with a t-shirt. Like, you know, you started with the t-shirt of S size, you go to the gym, you continue to evolve, your chest is growing, you become bigger, more mature, and you still try to fit in that S size t-shirt. Definitely, like internally and externally, sometimes it's look a bit weird. And we decided that like brand as an entity also supposed to fit us, and we go supposed to go through the process of that, upgrading that, updating that. And yeah, that's something that we're jumping into. By the date of this podcast will be live, we will be in the middle of the process of that brand evolution campaign, our communication campaign regarding that, where we explain the details, why we're changing, why we're creating that image that fits our new, a bit adjusted, more mature vision of future of the product, of our role. And you will be able, if you never heard of S ranking and never tried, or like tried before in early, like 5 years ago, for example, you will have an option to get some kind of sweet discount and jump into and try the platform and check how we changed from that time, how we evolved. So this is a campaign of adjusting how we look like, how we communicate, what we're doing, and be more precise with that. Yeah, that's a short overview.
SEOs and marketers, you're going to like this one. I want to tell you about Wix Studio, the platform that gives agencies total creative freedom to deliver complex client sites while still smashing deadlines. Let's start off with SEO. It's at the core of Wix Studio, baked into every edit, update, and action you take. Best-in-class defaults, automations, and bulk actions free up time, and you can customize at scale for more control. You can say goodbye to endless plugins and hello to native integration with Google, Facebook, Instagram, Amazon, TikTok, and many more. And on the creation side, you can efficiently bring your most ambitious projects to life thanks to smart design features, flexible dev tools, integrated business solutions, and seamless workflows. Even after clients take over, built-ins like automatic redirects help sites stay optimized for long-term growth. Speaking of growth, you can track every campaign against client KPIs and automate monthly emails to share learnings with clients. All this backed by fast, resilient infrastructure that's built to scale. Get started with Wix Studio today at edgeofthewebradio.com/Wix Studio. Well, it's exciting to hear that you're maturing as an organization, and it's going to be a larger offering, but also an understanding that it's more than And I think we just want to make sure we state the obvious. This is more than ranking, folks. This is more than SEO audits. There's a slew of tools, and ultimately, I can only imagine you're wanting to be able to be that tool set that, as an agency, I don't have to have 3 or 4 tools to be able to do what I'm needing to do. You actually are going to be growing into that space where we can rely on that, jettison some of the tools that we do have, because you are building that comprehensive Batman belt of tools to be able to do the marketing that we're looking to do. But first, another point along your brand evolution, how is this brand evolution going to align with SE Ranking's core values of being bold, brave, and curious? Because I picked that up as part of a picture of what you have done so far. How are you going to continue that promise?
It's very encouraging that you see us like that, like bold, brave, and courageous. To be fair, internally, we went like our evolution process is a reflection of ourselves. We not want to pretend that we are something different. Like this is a process that is supposed to align with, like we make an interview, how our customers see us, how internally the team want to see the platform. And this process is some kind of reflection of us. And to be fair, like something that we state on the paper in our internal documents, we align around values of empowering people, inspiring growth, and bringing clarity. Definitely being brave and curious, it's a part of us. We constantly push ourselves there. But the most important thing that I already mentioned that we want to keep and continue developing is being accepting that role of a partner for the community, for the specialist. Like role of the partner can differ. It can be mentor role by supporting you with the advices or the vision onto that on the very uncertain matters, or being a reliable partner in terms of data. And that's one of the core aspects of that entity that we want to state. And definitely that's an expectation from partner that you've been proactive, that you back up yourself in terms of innovation. But that's something that we align around, that we constantly keep in mind, that all our changes, what we do is supposed to be not just a bold braveness, just jumping into something that never exists and nobody needs that. We still understand that we need to meet with the expectations and need to focus our resources on something that you rely on day-to-day use. That's something like that.
Excellent. That's important to understand, because if we're relying on what we've come to trust in SE Ranking, we certainly want to be able to see that prosper in the future. How do you see this brand evolution impacting SE Ranking's position in the competitive SEO tool market?
Interesting. Good question. To be fair, that's rebranding. It's not something that's brand evolution. It's not something that change us, something on the landscape. First of all, on our market, the most valued thing is functionality, reliability, trustfulness of the software. I know a lot of players that's not been changing their design entity for a very long time, not only on our market. And they're very successful because they're doing their job. So we don't want to fake that we're bigger, better, or something else than we are. That's something that just a logical process of transformation. We don't have an expectation that we go through rebranding and right now everybody will pretend that we're offering even more. We're, in terms of our positioning on the market, in terms of our positioning in the minds of potential customers, we very focused on, first of all, on the product. And that's why we've not been updating our design entity, like our brand entity, for a very long time, and going with our old logos for all of that time, because it fairly more associated with rankings for this step logo. But we, as you mentioned, we went far beyond that use case. And what we expect from that campaign, that's a lot of people who engaged with us in previous periods decided to go further with other solutions, or not even decided to try. We'll have a fresh look on things that's updated, how we look like. Moreover, our existing customers our expectations will be happy also with that with these changes, because main changes that's happening, that's the visual aspects inside of the platform, and they rely on this platform in day-to-day use, and we cannot
Right.
do like that
Radical changes. Right.
reshuffling. Yeah, we need to align with how our existing customers see us, maybe adjust how they see us in like, for example, through the feedback loop. We heard that despite the fact that we exist for 11 years, some of people suppose that we exist for like 2 or 3 years, that we're a very young company,
Hmm.
but that's something that we definitely wanted to adjust. And for
Yeah.
us, as a measurement of success of this communicational aspect of brand evolution, definitely will be that feedback loop that we will get from customers, and they will confirm that they see us in the manner as we sculptured that, as we've been
Right.
expecting. Because when we go in through this brand identity evolution, we not talking only about design. It's aligning all of our process, like internal and externally. It's how
Hmm.
our employees see the brand. If we sound unified, I mean, we use the same adjectives, we have the same definition of the word quality, of the word partnership, of understanding not what it's meaning to inspire growth, what's meaning of bringing this clarity. That goes far beyond just design components. It goes to all of the levels of terms of communication, product development, internal hiring processes, and like
Hmm.
job processes. So that's how we see that. So that's our expectations around that. We not expect that again we will have a brighter picture and it will change everything fundamentally, because we are, because of who, like we are who because of who we are.
Hmm.
As a, uh, Customers rely on us due to the product that we're offering, and that's the main thing that we're focusing on to that. And this is some kind of supportive thing. This is a tool that needed to be adjusted to our size right now. If we
Excellent.
continue with the t-shirt.
Yeah, I think the T-shirt example is fantastic because you've certainly outgrown your T-shirt, and not in the way I do. So yeah, I like the workout regime that you're talking about there. How do you plan to communicate these changes to your existing users worldwide? How many hundreds of thousands of users do you have now on this platform? Are you at
We got
liberty to say?
1 million. Like, I don't have an expectation that in one day we need to take a hand of each customer and show, hey, look how pretty we are, how beautiful we are. Our main, like, we definitely will have a communication campaign. Definitely will
Hmm.
have a engagement campaign with the customers, and that's something that we will do proactively. But like, what we expect, that this will become more natural when customers engage with the platform, engage with the new brand identities, that like evolutionized identities that we will have. They will have that feeling that we set up in the beginning, our expectation that we set up in the beginning. There is
Excellent.
no need of forcefully pushing
Right.
everybody going through that. In the end, we want everybody just to experience that by engaging with the platform, by engaging with the educational materials that we create in events, and
Yep.
even employees in like offsite events, when we meet on the booth or in some kind of a conference. You
Hmm.
will have similar experience that is stated in original brand evolution documents.
Fantastic. In that respect, we also just want to, from this podcast point of view, want to make sure that if listeners gave SE ranking a look 4 or 5 years ago, it certainly has changed. It would be advisable to jump back in and see what SE ranking has done. But also, you've positioned yourself over the years of learning from the community, and as you go through this brand evolution, you're certainly going to be ears open and getting feedback from consumers as they're interacting with the platform. And that's also part of your evolution as well, is that you're listening to how's this as a new interface, how's this as a not only new tools, but also how this tool operates now. So you're going to be listening actively. So the consumers and the clients that you have a unique position, more so than most platforms, to be able to give their feedback and be able to see even a further degree of evolution, right? So you're on this journey, but it's not going to be a journey that has a particular finality to it. This is now opening up the conversation to a greater degree. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. That's why it's evolution. It's something like we've been growing in a certain trajectory, and
Mm-hmm.
in certain moments, like some of the trajectories shifted a bit, and what we're doing, we're just grouping up, and we continue in same direction. It's like we even internally we discussed that this is some kind of middle point of something that's we have a very long path to go in, like we have a lot of things to offer to the market, to our
Mm-hmm.
audience. We have a great audience to engage with that will help us doing that. And like we understood that one of fundamental changes of that, it's changing the things that limit us, that was holding us from changing and like adjusting the platform, like
Mm-hmm.
color scheme, for example, or phones that we've been using, or design
Mm-hmm.
system that we that we get to this point because it's become a very strong limiter for us. We cannot introduce some
Gotcha.
of vision how we see it's supposed to develop. So right now, this change unlocks us in new ways how we can continue evolve in the direction that we state, how we adjust our internal goals, how we adjust our internal values that help us just to adjust a bit the trajectory. But definitely, we expect to have other rounds of evolution, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
it will be needed to do an extra round of changes because
Sure.
we again grew up of this t-shirt, because even if it's made of stretch, it's still there, it has some limits.
We're all going to be bodybuilders by the time SE Ranking's done. Well, I mean, it sounds like there's a cultural shift or a cultural additional buy-in with your team. You're also expanding to ask the community to be able to participate in this. We certainly wish you all the best in this, and it's a rarity that you see this type of commitment from a platform to be able to jump in and be able to expand their communication. But on top of it, it just does seem natural that you're moving from a particular known stage of product to a larger offering and a larger commitment to your customers. That said, we certainly would love to learn more about as the evolution starts and continues into 2025. What are the other future goals that SE Ranking has to kind of finish up this podcast? Anything on the horizon from a tool set that we should look forward to?
To be fair, for these 11 years, we never switched to very long-term planning cadence. Like we usually regroup on very short, like we can have a perspective that we're launching some of functionality regarding IEO, for example. We do
Mm-hmm.
that. But again, our plans been adjusted in like on a quarter basis, on a monthly basis.
Oh,
And I
good.
cannot even forecast where will we end. Definitely we'll continue developing the functionality around SEO use case
Mm-hmm.
regarding like we continue developing existing modules. IO area will be developing so much because it's going far beyond the just regular SEO use case, and we'll continue monitoring that. And I expect that like even right now, rank tracking and competitor research modules will have this feature of tracking what's
Mm-hmm.
happening, and definitely we'll came out with some of the tools that will help you adjust how AI sees you, or will help you understand better how it behaves. That's something that's our top of the list thing. Like, but definitely it will depend on how rollout will go further. Maybe Google will decide that it's too risky and will
Right.
just freeze that in current state, for example.
Right.
Um, we never know. Definitely, we see that as a solution and as a partner, we need to evolve into wider aspects, even like SEO as a specialist right now becoming a marketeer, and there are different
Mm-hmm.
areas of marketing,
Yeah.
and we paying our attention in other aspects of digital visibility. We continue developing our social media aspect and ability of how to post in scheduling and analyzing.
Mm-hmm.
We looking into paid aspect of marketing,
Mm-hmm.
maybe some of brand controlling. But again, we definitely rely on the landscape that exists right now. We continue answering on the requests of our customers, like how they evolve. Like as our customers become more mature, they have a more mature request regarding, for example, reporting capabilities. So maybe
Hmm.
there would there definitely a big backlog of changes there, but maybe there will be some kind of bigger offering regarding that. I cannot forecast it to 2025. Definitely one thing for sure, IEO stays with us and will continue developing that. Oh, one thing that I very sure, we continue
Hmm.
our initiative with data quality. That's something that goes far beyond all of the new models and functionality that we'll be offering. That's like something that we commit to develop. And there's things that you will notice, like when you just entering the platform from visual perspective, from functionality perspective. But on the backend side, there are phenomenal changes that's happening over these years.
Right.
And something that we have a very, very strong commitment, and like previous years been coming under that idea that we need to uh, that to keep the data quality that we
Mhm.
provide around all possible modules like at very high level, and that's something that we continue to develop.
Yeah, we reported on a number of feature improvements that you had earlier this year regarding backlink improvements and data quality, as well as keyword volume and keyword analysis, and it was certainly showed whenever you're looking at that the data compared to some of the other models that are out there, or other platforms that are out there. So keep up that good work, please, because we need that level of accuracy in the space. Can't tell you how much it bugs us whenever we're looking at a new link or a lost link that's not really correctly being reported in these platforms, or something that's 3 to 6 months old, and you really can't put strategy against that if the data is not accurate. So that's also something that we're relying on platforms like you to be able to continue to invest in. One final note that I wanted to round up this conversation with, and Bogdan, I certainly do appreciate your time and the extent that we've been able to dive into your perspective of SE ranking, as well as the history and your brand evolution. When it comes down to SEOs, the platform for reporting, as well as the SEO communities, their responsibility to give feedback to Google. I think, and we talked about this pre-show, of some of the challenges that are in the Google ecosystem right now. And they're taking some hits, and there's certainly some problems that they're experiencing publicly. And on top of that, the SERP quality is by and large diminished, and they're still trying to figure this out. They're trying to rectify some of the changes that they've made. But when it comes down to our responsibility as communicators back to Google, what are your thoughts from community and, more importantly, platforms? You have a relationship with Google, obviously, in the respect of API connections, what have you. Where should we be? Should we just kind of surf along, or should we take an active role and again, a respectful role, because they are a software company. They're trying to do the best for the consumers, but voicing inaccuracies, communicating back to Google and letting them know that, hey, that's probably wrong. You don't want us to put glue on pizza. Uh, where do we really stand in that, and what would you advocate for?
From SEO solutions as we are, I definitely see our position as one of members of community who can be a whistleblower or communicating clearly with the like. We should come into this process as a not like partners with a very strong positively, like everybody here belongs on Google as a company, and
Mm-hmm.
we want to be Google in a certain manner successful, because if Google not exist, our industry won't exist as it is.
Mm-hmm.
We never know how society will develop without that. But definitely that the process that we should set up, we should clearly communicate what are the big points, current search results, and definitely encourage all other members communicate that through a public channels that is available, because we together form how industry looks like. For us, it's a certain level of responsibility because we're capable of measuring more, collecting more
Mm-hmm.
of data. And as a ranking, I cannot say for other market members, but we feel that responsibility that we need to give that transparency. Not always Google as a company sees some kind of regional aspects of their technology, how it works in certain areas,
Mm-hmm.
or They develop product with a very good idea that stands behind that, but sometimes in certain niches it works in completely opposite way. And AI by itself, the very great technology that can make our life simpler, but
Right.
definitely there, like, we need to highlight that you need to be more safer, like, not more careful with rolling
Yeah.
out that. And I'm happy to be the part of that. That's our voice is noticeable. That Google hears what's like proven experts says, what's the community says, and what softwares like we are says, like highlighting that, hey, you need to pay attention here, or it's look weird, or like something like that.
Right.
And this is feedback loop that's supposed to exist. To be fair, from a personal perspective, I don't see Google as a regular software company. That's a company that created the world in certain manner, how it exists right now. A lot of
Absolutely.
countries, like human lives, depend on that, on the product that Google creates. From educational standpoint, they have numerous projects that are fundamental in different countries. And when they start competing with other software companies in the manner as software companies get used to that, it's not always like we see that it's not works very well.
Right.
Google's supposed to understand that they're above all of that, and they're supposed to be careful with that competition. They're supposed to be more, because a lot of businesses, a lot of human lives depend on that. And with their steps, how they see the technology is supposed to evolve, they're supposed to be a bit more careful. They cannot afford
Hmm.
themselves throwing alive very wild experiments just to the
Yeah.
public.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
We
this
don't want to be
function,
beta tested on. Keep on going. Sorry.
yeah. But definitely we should accept the role of we the first who will notice that something not good, and
Hmm.
we need to accept this role of community guard,
Yeah,
like
some
of
sort of
yeah.
some
We
sort of
supposed
quality control, something
quality
that we can
control.
give.
Yeah,
That there you go.
yeah, because all of we go in through, like, this is a crazy new technology, and we see that it's evolving through this 2.5 years. Sorry, 2 years. I assume.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's evolving crazy. And like the first versions comparing to what we see right now, it's totally different. So, and we should expect that this technology will continue to evolve. We see how many AI-driven products are popping up. So, unfortunately, we live in a time of change, and we need just to accept the reality. We exist within that. We know where it's going towards. We try to
Right.
observe. We try to forecast that, and yeah, just accept it. That's it.
Well,
Sorry.
I know you're yeah, just accept what Google's going to do. We got to give feedback, and they are listening, and I think they
Yeah,
are
definitely.
taking in input, and platforms such as yourself, I think, have additional gravitas in the conversation to be able to share what they're seeing, and on top of that, whistleblow when we need to whistleblow. Thank you for your time today, Bogdan. Would you have any final thoughts for our audience before we sign off?
Hmm.
That was a big
Uh,
one anyway.
yeah. Like, to be fair, like, final thoughts. You should try what we're doing, like, as a platform. Be courage and curious by yourself. Like, we go in, like, we're an expert in areas of uncertainty as a ranking, and we share this expertise. So you and a specialist, as a specialist, supposed to evolve constantly, and there is no area in the world that is not under certain circumstances of change. Like,
Hmm.
everything is changing, and you should also, and you just should accept that the life is the process of evolution, of changing your ways, how you operate, how you think. And if you jump into this process with curiosity, it's becoming more fun. Like you can go through a roller coaster with a sad face, and or just stick your heads up and like enjoy all that. Like, you never know what will be next.
Yeah, you got to trust the car that you're in, that it doesn't fall off the guardrails. And it looks like SE Ranking is certainly reinforcing that and creating a valuable product, not only what they have now, but also in the future. We wish you all the best in the brand evolution, Bogdan, and we're certainly going to be watching from a number of different positions as you go through it. So we appreciate your time today to be able to unpack this challenge that you've got and this mission, more importantly, that you've got as the CMO, to be able to get into the right t-shirt. And it's going to have SE Ranking logo on there. Don't know what the logo is yet, but it's going to be there. So kudos for that initiative to you on all your team. It sounds like you got a fantastic team over at SE Ranking.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for having me. That was a pleasure. Thank you for kind words. Also, it's been encouraging aspect of that. I always value the feedback. Definitely positive feedback encouraged me more to continue some of the trajectories. That was a pleasure.
You're more than welcome. More than welcome. We want to make sure that everybody follows Bogdan on LinkedIn. You can search for him, Bogdan, Bogdan Babiak. That's Babyak on Facebook as well. Are you on Twitter?
No.
Good.
I will be. I will adjust that.
But you can also find SE Ranking on Twitter as well, SE Ranking. We really appreciate it, and we are certainly going to lift you up over this campaign. Thanks for being part of this show, as well as on top of that, being continued sponsor in a number of different ways with the show. We certainly appreciate that brand support as well.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. More than welcome. All right. Make sure that you listen to the entirety. You just caught a video snippet. Go over to our podcast page, edgeofthewebradio.com, to be able to download the entire podcast. And also make sure you check out all the video snippets and audiograms that we have, as well as the show page where you see all the links going over to the different SEO properties. Make sure that you also go over and rate this podcast.com/edge. Let us know how we did on this show, as well as other shows that you've heard. It certainly is valuable to make sure that we get in front of new audiences. Lastly, you want to make sure they check out our newsletter, as we're catching you up on all the digital marketing news each and every week, as well as some of the news that didn't make it to the show. You'll have the Edge insider knowledge that we're covering internally as well. So from all of us over at Edge, stay safe, stay well, and do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.